Hello, my dear students. Today we are going to listen to chapter 3 and 4. Before we start listening to them, let's revise what happened in chapter 1 and 2. In chapter 1, we said that our story started in an inn. The inn is a small hotel. It's called Admiral Bimbo. Jim Hawkins was the narrator of the story. His father was the innkeeper, the owner of the inn. Jim lived there with his father and mother. An old sailor came to the inn. He wanted a quiet place to stay in. The captain, the old sailor, put some gold coins on the table and asked Jim's father to take them, to tell him when he spent all of them. Also, he asked Jim to keep watch for a man with one leg. He asked Jim to keep watch for a man with one leg and tell him if he sees him, and he will give him a coin every week. The captain started to drink rum. The rum is alcoholic drink. He became noisy and he told stories about bad men doing bad things. He became angry when he drank rum. He used bad language, so the visitors stopped coming to the inn. They were afraid of him. Also, Jim's father was afraid of him, so he didn't tell him to leave or that he spent all the gold coins. Jim's father became ill, and Dr. Livesey came to see him. He gave him some medicine and went to the bar, waited for a man to bring his horse. The captain started singing loudly, and the doctor asked him to be quiet because there was a sick man. The captain took his knife and pointed it at the doctor. The doctor wasn't afraid of him. He asked him to put his knife down and to stop drinking rum because he will die if he drinks more rum. The captain became angry. The, the doctor asked him to keep away from him because he is a magistrate. Magistrate means a minor judge. In chapter 2, Jim's father was ill, so Jim worked in the inn. One morning, a man called a black dog with two legs but two fingers missing from his left hand come to the inn. He asked about his friend Bill, who had a cut on the right side of his face. Jim told him that the captain went for a walk to the rock. He waited for the captain, but he didn't seem friendly. When Captain Billy Bones came to the inn, he wasn't pleased to see Black Dog. Jim brought rum for them. They began shouting at one another. The captain said, "If one of us must hang, then all of us must." They began fighting with their knives. Captain Billy cut Black Dog's shoulder. Then Black Dog ran away. The captain came back into the inn and asked Jim to bring him rum. Jim heard a sudden crash. He found the captain was lying on the floor. Jim ran to get Dr. Livesey. The doctor found out that the captain had a bad heart and was very ill. So he warned him to stop drinking rum, because he will die if he doesn't stop drinking rum. Then the doctor went to see Jim's father. Let's see what happened in chapter 3.
Chapter 3. Blind Pew delivers a black spot.
The captain was ill and had to stay in bed. I took a drink to his room.
"Jim,"
He said to me.
"you're a good boy. And I've been good to you. I've given you money, haven't I?"
Yes, Captain, I said.
"Then bring me rum."
He asked. It will kill you, I said. I'll bring you 1 glass of rum, no more. I brought him the rum. He drank.
The captain asked Jim to bring him rum. Jim warned him that the rum will kill him because he had a bad heart. So Jim brought only a glass of rum to him.
Drank it quickly. Then he said,
"I can't stay here. I must get up."
He tried to get out of bed, but he was not strong enough. He closed his eyes and lay back in bed for a few minutes. Then he said,
"That black dog who is here, he's a bad one. Don't trust him. He and the others, they want my chest. They'll give me the black spot if I can't get away from them. You must help me, Jim. Only I know the secret place. Captain Flint told me about it as he was dying. Watch out for Black Dog and a man with 1 leg, Jim. I'll give you the treasure."
I didn't know what he was talking about. I wanted to ask him questions, but he fell asleep. That night, my father died. I did not think about the captain. I had other things to think about. Then a few days later, another strange man came to the inn. His clothes were very old. He was blind and carried a stick.
"Can anyone tell me where I am?"
He asked. This is the Admiral Benbow Inn, I said, at Black Hill Cove.
"Good. Now give me your hand, young man,"
he said,
"and take me inside."
He took my hand and held it very tightly.
"Now take me to the captain,"
he said in a cruel voice. No, sir, I answered. I will not. He held my hand even tighter.
"Take me to the captain, or I'll break your arm,"
he said. I did not want to obey him, but he was hurting me. I led him to the captain's room. When the captain saw him, he looked very afraid and whispered,
"Blind Pew." "Hello, Bill,"
the blind man said.
"I've got something for you."
The captain drank his rum and said that he couldn't stay any more in the inn, but he couldn't get out of bed. He told Jim that Black Dog and the other men were bad men. They wanted his chest. What is the chest? It's a large wooden box with a lock. They will give him the black spot if he couldn't get away from them. He asked Jim to help him. He told Jim that he was the only one who knew about the secret place. That Captain Flint, the captain of the pirate's ship, told him about it when he was dying. The captain asked Jim to watch out for Black Dog and a man with 1 leg. He will give him the treasure. The captain fell asleep. That night, Jim's father died. After a few days, another strange man came to the inn. His clothes were very old. He was blind and carried a stick. He asked Jim to take him inside the inn. The blind man took Jim's hand and held it tightly. Then asked Jim to take him to the captain, but Jim refused. The blind man threatened or warned Jim that he will break his arm if he doesn't take him to the captain. Jim didn't want to obey him, but he was hurting him. Jim led him to the captain. When the captain saw him, he was afraid and whispered, "Blind Pew." The blind man told him that he had something for him.
Then he said to me,
"Take his left hand and bring it to my right."
I obeyed him. He passed something from his hand into the captain's hand. Then he turned and quickly left the room. He went down the stairs and left the inn. The captain looked at his hand and then cried out,
"He's given me the black spot! We've only got 6 hours!"
he cried. He tried to stand, but he fell to the floor. I ran to him. He did not move or speak. He was dead. My mother came into the room and saw the captain on the floor.
"What happened, Jim?"
She said. "A blind man came into the room and gave him something," I said. The captain was afraid. He knew he was in danger.
"In what way?"
My mother asked. "Some men, Black Dog was one, wanted something in his chest," I said. "He knew a secret place. I don't know what it was or where. He was afraid of getting the black spot."
"What black spot?"
my mother asked. "I don't know, Mother," I said, "but we should leave here. The captain said something about having only 6 hours."
"We'll go to the next village,"
my mother said.
"Then perhaps someone will get Dr. Livesey and he can explain."
Blind Pew asked Jim to take the captain's left hand and to bring it to his right hand. Then he passed something from his hand to the captain's hand. Then he left the inn. The captain cried out when he saw the black spot in his hand and said that we have got only 6 hours. He tried to stand up, but he fell to the floor. He didn't move or speak. He was dead. Jim's mother came into the room and saw the captain on the floor. She asked him about what happened to the captain. He told her that a blind man came into the room and gave something to the captain. The captain was afraid and knew that he was in danger. Jim told her that Black Dog and some men wanted something in the captain's chest, and that the captain knew about the secret place, and that he was afraid of getting the black spot. Jim told his mother that they should leave the inn before 6 hours, as the captain said. Jim's mother told him that they will go to the next village. Perhaps someone will get Dr. Livesey and he could explain. Let's see what happened in chapter 4.
Chapter 4. Inside a Dead Man's Chest.
The next village was very near, and we were soon talking to some people there. Many of them knew about Captain Flint. They were afraid. My mother said,
"The dead man owes us money. I'm going back to open his chest and take what he owes me. Who'll come with us?"
No one moved or spoke.
I'll give the boy a pistol,
one man said.
I'll ride to Dr. Livesey's,
Another man said. This was all the help we could get from them. We went back to the inn and locked the door and windows. The captain was lying on his back in the bedroom. There was a small piece of paper on the floor near his hand. It was black on one side. On the other side were the words, "You have until 10 o'clock tonight." I used a knife to open the chest. Inside the chest there were some clothes, 2 pistols, and coins from many different countries. At the bottom of the box there was a piece of cloth wrapped around some papers. My mother counted out the coins the captain owed her. I picked
Jim and his mother went to the next village, which was very near. They talked They talked to some people. Many of them knew about Captain Flint. They were afraid. Jim's mother wanted to go back to the inn, to open the captain's chest, to take the money that he owes them, to repay her money. She asked the men who will come with us, but no one moved or spoke. One man said that he will give Jim a pistol, a small gun. Another man said he will ride to Dr. Livesey's. This was all the help they could get from the men. Jim and his mother went back to the inn, locked the doors and the windows. The captain was lying on his stomach in his bedroom. There was a small piece of paper on the floor near his hand. It was black on one side. On the other side were the words, "You have until 10 o'clock tonight." It was the black spot. Jim used a knife to open the chest. What was inside the chest? There were some clothes, 2 pistols, and coins from many different countries. At the bottom of the box there was a piece of cloth wrapped or covered around some papers. It was the map. Jim's mother counted out the coins the captain owed her. Let's see what happened next.
there was a bridge. There was a 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 br- I picked up the papers wrapped in cloth. Then we heard a noise. It was the sound of the blind man's stick, tap, tap, tapping on the road outside the inn. It came nearer and nearer. Then it stopped. It started again, but this time it was moving away. "He may not be able to see us," I said, "but soon other men will come and find us. Black Dog, perhaps, or the man with one leg."
It's only 7 o'clock.
My mother said.
I haven't finished counting my money.
"There's no time, Mother," I said. "We must go before the men come." As we left the inn, I heard the sound of running feet. "They're coming, Mother," I said. "Run quickly."
I can't, Jim.
My mother said.
I feel ill.
Jim picked up the papers covered in cloth. Then they heard a noise. It was the sound of the blind man's stick tapping on the road outside. The end. It comes nearer and nearer, then was moving away. Jim told his mother that the other men will come and find them, so they should leave the inn before they come and find them. She told Jim that she hadn't finished counting her money. Jim told her that there was no time. As they left the inn, they heard sound of running feet. Jim asked his mother to run quickly, but she couldn't. She felt ill.
There was a bridge just outside the inn. I pulled my mother under the bridge. We waited there as the men came nearer. There were 7 or 8 of them. Blind Pew was one of the men. The night was dark by now, but one of the men had a light.
"Break down the door,"
he said. 3 of the men broke down the door. They ran inside. Then one of them shouted,
"Bill's dead!"
Another man shouted,
The chest's open! Someone's opened it! But there are coins inside!
"We don't want the coins!
the blind man shouted.
Where's Captain Flint's map?"
It's not here!
A man said.
"And there's nothing on Bill!"
Another man shouted.
"It's that boy!"
The blind man shouted.
"We must find him! Look everywhere in the house!"
There was a lot of noise as the men looked everywhere in the house for me. The men began to quarrel. Blind Pew hit one of them with his stick. Then there was the sound of horses coming toward the inn. The men ran off, leaving Pew behind.
"Don't leave me!"
He shouted.
"Black Dog, don't leave old Pew!"
The horses had arrived at the inn. Pew tried to run from them, but he could not see where he was going. He fell under one of the horses and died.
Jim and his mother hid under the bridge, which was outside the inn. The men came to the inn. They were 7 or 8, and Blind Pew was one of them. The night was dark, but one of the men had a light. 3 of them broke down the door. They ran inside. One of them shouted, "Bill is dead!" Another man shouted, "The chest is open!" But there are coins inside. The blind man doesn't want the coins. He wanted Captain Flint's map. A man told him that it wasn't there. The blind man said it was the boy who took the map. "Find him. You must find him." He asked them to look everywhere for Jim. So there was a lot of noise. The men began quarrel or argue or fight. Blind Pew hit one of them with his stick. Then 2. There was the sound of horses coming towards the inn. The men ran off, leaving Pew behind. He shouted, "Don't leave me! Don't leave old Pew!" But the horses had arrived at the inn. The horsemen were the government men. Pew tried to run from them, but he couldn't see where he was going. He fell under one of the horses and died. I want you to study chapter 3 and 4. Then we will answer the questions in the next video. Thank you. Goodbye.